Hey, what it do, sports world? It's me again. The Winner Circle podcast with me, Ray Diggs, is here, y'all. Where passion meets performance and champions are made. I'm your host, Ray Diggs, bringing you the energy, the insight, and the mindset from across the world of sports. From the locker rooms to the big stage, this is where the real ones talk and legends rise, and the motto stays the same. Winners will always win. The Winner Circle podcast with me, Ray Diggs. We are here and we ain't going nowhere. Make sure y'all tune in because we're about to go live now. Peace. Hey, what it do, sports world, and welcome to the Winner Circle podcast with me, Ray Diggs. Man, it's been so good to be back. I want to talk about the Davis situation, the latest in the Davis situation. Also, as you all know, if you all haven't been tracking, this case this thing's heating up with David, the singer David, and he is being accused of murdering his 13-year-old girlfriend, Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Before I get started, man, make sure you hit the like button, the subscribe button, and also the share button. Make sure y'all give me your feedback on what you all think about this segment. But listen, so what's going on in the David case today? We're talking about one of the most disturbing cases, high-profile cases right now, which is the David case. And I'm going to tell you all, I'm going to lay down everything, the motive, the evidence, and a whole lot of questions that we got as we continue to move forward in this case. Now, let's walk down the timeline step by step in the David situation. As you all know, David, whose real name is David Burks, is facing first-degree murder charges tied to Celeste Rivas Hernandez, the young lady. As you all know, she went missing, and next thing you know, her body was found in a Tesla. I started talking about this case a while ago. I started talking about this case months ago when it first came out, and my question was, why haven't the LAPD arrested him yet? And then next thing you know, it popped back up, and now they have pretty much filed charges. They have arrested him and filed charges against him. And I think now he sees that this thing right here is serious. Now, the prosecutors, I think they have a real life case against him. I'm not going to say he's guilty because I like to, give everybody their time in court. But let's talk about this thing. According to investigators, in 2022, he met Celeste when she was only 11 years old. He was 18. The relationship allegedly began to get physical when actually she was 11. The relationship began to get physical when he was 13. She was 13 and he was 18. That's when everything began to get physical. In 2024, Celeste reported spent significant time at his home. They stayed the weekends at his Hollywood Hills home. They even traveled to places like Las Vegas, London, Texas to meet his family. So his family knew that he was in a relationship with this young lady. Her parents, around this time, she was considered a runaway. A lot of people don't know that. And what my biggest questions in this situation was this: if you're running away so much, I feel like the parents, we look at the parents, like why the parents didn't do this, why didn't the parents do that? I think that she was so far gone and so far in love with David that I don't think there's nothing that the parents could have said to pretty much bring her back, to get her away from him. And then she came up missing. She was a missing person. Well, she was not a missing person, she was a runaway. And then the police eventually found her. They found his number in her phone and contacted him. And he didn't know that she was a minor. This right here is what he's claiming. He said he did not know that she was a minor. He did not know she was a runaway. He said he had spoke to her the days prior to her coming up missing. Now, this is what happened. They took her, the family, she went back home. Her parents took her cell phone from her. And after that, he pretty much went out of his way. Prosecutor said he still maintained contact with her, What David did was he even went to her school, paying $1,000 to one of her fellow students to give her a phone for him. Now, think about this, right? Now, they told you how old she is, but you still went out of your way to go and try to pretty much get her a cell phone, which you gave a classmate $1,000 to give her a cell phone, in which that's how he stayed in contact with her without her parents even knowing. So when people talk about the parents probably didn't even know that she was still talking to this man, because they took her phone away. But being that he went to the school and gave her a cell phone, this right here is how he was continued to conversate with his minor, even now that he even knows that she's a minor. The police eventually, now this is where it tightens up. Celeste became upset with David because she felt like all David wanted to do was be physically intimate with her. I don't think David wanted to be in a relationship with her. Like David, they were saying, the prosecutor pretty much laid everything out, saying that she became upset with David because she felt like all he wanted to do was pretty much sleep with her. She wanted more for herself than just being somebody that's just physical intimate with him. And this right here is when everything starts to go down. I'm gonna show y'all a video. Is when I seen this right here, probably last year. And I looked at this video and I thought to myself, I said, wait, something is not right with this video, because David wanted this video to not get out. But once you hit play on something, it's already out to the world, millions of people. But listen to what Celeste said in this video. A lot of us, when everything went down, then we took a look back and said, oh my God, she was saying this in his lives. But listen to this video.
That's controversial.
It's controversial of raping kids.
Let's go back. Let me show y'all.
I media trained you. No, you didn't. That's controversial.
It's controversial of raping kids.
Really good.
Okay,
it's been a good one. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Mwah, 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 mwah. Oh my! Delete everything. Delete everything. Everything goes.
So this right here was them on live when he said that I media trained you. She said, train to what? Rape kids? And at that very moment, we did not know what she was saying, but she was giving us the answers to the test, even in that video. But let's go ahead. And I think everything pretty much went down on April the 23rd. The key night was April the 23rd. Prosecutors say that David sent an Uber to pick up Celeste from her home at 8:40. She arrived at 10:10. About 20 minutes later, after arriving at David's home, after arriving at David's Hollywood Hill home, 20 minutes later, he texted her and said, where is you? Where was she? Prosecutors say that by that time, they feel like Celeste was already dead. And the reason why they said it is because they feel like David was the one who was sending these text messages. David was sending these text messages to cover his tracks, to get an alibi. They said that by the time Celeste arrived, because the night before, David and Celeste had an argument. They had an argument about what I just said. Celeste saying that she wanted more for herself than having a physical altercation, a physical, intimate relationship with him. She wanted to be in a relationship. And Celeste threatened David and was pretty much saying that I will expose everything. I will tell everybody what's going on. And it won't only ruin your career, it would ruin your life. And I think David knew then that I have to get rid of her. And I think this night of the 23rd is when he made sure that Celeste Rivas Hernandez never talked again. I think that this right here was the day, because like I said, they had an altercation an argument the night before. Also was in that argument was they was talking about abortions. They was talking about They was talking about abortions. They was talking about DNA. I mean, not DNA. They was talking about pregnancy, abortions, and Plan B pills in that conversation that night. So the night of the 23rd, I think David got the Uber, brought Celeste to his residence, and when she came in, I think within 20 minutes she was already dead. The prosecutor said that David stabbed Celeste twice and watched her bleed out. He alleged left and attempted to destroy evidence. After he stabbed her, they said that David got in his vehicle and he went to try to destroy evidence. He also sent more text messages to make sure that he covered his tracks and gave himself an alibi. But by April the 26th, 2025, all contact stopped. Their argument, like I said, those was a part of the alibi. And once he felt secure in this situation, the communication, he ended it. September 8th, Celeste was found in the back in a junkyard 400 feet from David's house in a Tesla, in a body bag, with her body dismembered. This young lady right here, they said that he cut off her fingers. One finger had David's name on it, and the other finger, they had matching tattoos. He had to get rid of her. In the days after the murder, David made some very criminal purchase off of Amazon under a fake female name. The day after her murder, he ordered a chainsaw, 2 chainsaws, a shovel, a body bag, a laundry bag, and also he had a blue inflatable pool. Why did he get the inflatable pool? The prosecutor said that he used the inflatable pool so when he's cutting up her body, her blood won't get everywhere, meaning that they think that he cut up her body at his home in his garage, being that they found DNA of her in his garage. They think that he cut up her body in that garage that day, that night, and he used that inflatable pool so her blood won't get everywhere. Why do they know that? Because a piece of that blood, the piece of the inflatable pool was found with her body as well. They said that he put her in a body bag, chopped her up, put her in a body bag. He put her in a special type of body bag that pretty much it keeps the smell in, the decomposed smell in. But in this situation here, it didn't happen. That's the reason why someone at that junkyard called the police and said that they are smelling it was a decomposed body odor that was coming from that Tesla. David was on tour at this time when the police came, found his body, and then the next day they reported that this right here was Celeste Rivas Hernandez's body. Now, when all of this happened, my first thing was this. Okay, why didn't they arrest him at that time? But I think what the LAPD wanted to do is they wanted a rock solid case. And I salute them because now I think that this case is so rock solid. I think any case can be, you can lose any case because you got jury. But I think this case right here is so rock solid with all the evidence that they have presented. And what David's attorneys, David went to court last week, his attorneys, he had 2 or 3 females. They wanted the prosecution to release the evidence. I'm gonna show y'all a video of what they said.
David Burke did not murder Celeste Rivas Hernandez, nor was he the cause of her death.
When I heard this right here last week, this is the first thing that I questioned. I said, they have to be 100% confident that he did not have nothing to do with Celeste Rivas Hernandez's murder. I said, so it got to be somebody close to him. I said, he got to be somebody close to him. But I'm going to tell y'all why I feel like the prosecutors were so confident. Because the prosecutor said, we know for a fact that David Burks was one who killed Celeste Rivas Hernandez. And I said, man, you just never know when it comes to prosecutors, man. When it comes to, you know, the investigators, they were just so 100% sure that we got it. But we're gonna finish listening to what his lawyer said, and I'm gonna tell y'all what the prosecutors did.
And we would like to be able to have the evidence come into the light of day at the earliest opportunity in order to establish that.
When they did that, the prosecutors brought and they laid out all the evidence that I just said. They laid down he ordered this off of Amazon. He laid down his phone records of how he was, you know, texting Celeste, even after the murder. They laid down all of this evidence. And they said they got even more. They said they even have messages. They even have photos of nude photos of Celeste and David Burks, which confirmed the story that they was definitely in a relationship. Once they did that, yesterday, he was at court yesterday, Wednesday. He was at court on Wednesday. David Burks was back in court. His defense team said if the prosecution got evidence, well, why don't we do the preliminary hearing Friday, today? The prosecutor said, let's do it. If y'all want to do it on Friday, let's do it. And I'm going to tell you the only reason why it didn't happen today is because the judge told them that today was May Day. Some shit that they made up, May Day. And they're going to push it to the 23rd of May. 23rd or 26th of May. That is when his next court date would be. I think that this case is going to go to trial. Now, the prosecutor is building up a very rock solid case. What they think is this. What was David's motive on why he had to get rid of Celeste? Celeste was going to ruin his relationship. Celeste was going to ruin his career. David had just signed a $3 to $7 million contract, record deal. So she was going to step on all of that. The relationship was the motive, the timeline. But when you listen to his music, I think it was eating him up inside that he needed to let out how he did this murder. And if you just go back and listen to his music, it was always weird music. Because every song, every video, he got somebody in there that looks like Celeste. I think he was obsessed with her. And I think when Celeste came and said, enough is enough, she stood up to him. I think that was just too much for David. And I think David knew that he had to get rid of Celeste. The prosecutors even said that David was the last person that touched that Tesla that day. That is what the prosecutors are saying. That David was the last person, and everybody that know Tesla Tesla has some of the best camera, and they never stop recording. So I'm pretty sure that they saying that they have evidence where when that car was parked in that junkyard, David was the last person that walked away from that vehicle. They also got video of somebody else driving that Tesla as well. I said that a 21-year-old. It's no way that a 21-year-old can do this. And I said a 21-year-old is going to make so many mistakes when he's trying to cover up a murder. Hell, it don't matter your age. Anybody's going to make mistakes, especially if you're not somebody that does this. But David, when I look at this case here, it's very disturbing because it's kind of like a psychopath that committed this murder. Because think about it, if you dismember somebody's body, you cut off their brain, you cut off their fingers, cut their body up and put them in a Tesla, in a body bag. Well, I know that David was a young kid that made way too many mistakes. So she asked, what did he do to her fingers? What I think he did with the fingers is this. I think he cut off the fingers because one finger had his name on it, and then another finger, it was a matching tattoo that they both had. So I think by him cutting off those fingers, it was a chance of him to get rid of anything that's tied to him. Cutting off those two fingers they were just trying to get rid of anything that tied him to her. So, but I think that he made so many mistakes in this. So many mistakes. First of all, you knew she was underage and you continue to deal with her. She got on that live and she basically exposed you at that time. But the problem is nobody was listening but his fans. And his fans are still supporting him. But Celeste was telling everybody at the beginning. But she was so in love with him and she probably did everything that he told her. But the one time that Celeste fought back was the day before. And that next day, he brought her to his house and he committed this crime. Cut her up, put her in that Tesla. But he did not think nobody was going to find her. But my mindset was this. And also, when they started looking into David Burke's, when they started looking into his house, the house that it all happened at, what did David Burks do? He had his manager to move out of that house, and they ended up moving. Now, if y'all go back to a while ago, it was a video that came out of the police going to David Burke's grandmother's house because they said they had a call, and the call said that somebody was killed once somebody was dead. And I'm sure, I don't know who it was, but I can see that it being David Burke's brother. Because if y'all go look at his social media, David Burke's brother posted a very cryptic message on Instagram. And he said all pedophiles and rapists should die. And I'm wondering, why would he post that at this time when his brother is going through what he's going through right now? And I always said from the beginning that there's more people behind this. And I even said, I think that somebody who's on his team is actually telling the prosecutors right now a breakdown on what happened that night with Celeste, even afterwards. Do y'all know that a day or 2 days later that David Burks was doing an interview after this murder? He was doing an interview because his upcoming album was getting ready to drop. And that album actually did pretty good. But Celeste deserved better. She deserved better. And I'm happy that people like myself, people like all the bloggers, because I made multiple videos on this and I talked about it because I didn't want Celeste's voice. I didn't want her to be just pretty much somebody that, just because it's a rich person, we're just going to throw her to the side. But when this thing happened, it was a lot of people that was doing a lot of work online, tying him back to this murder. And I think that we were trying to rush the LAPD to making an arrest, and they didn't do that. They waited until the perfect time when they had rock solid evidence until they pretty much made this arrest. And another key details is the vehicle is tied to David. Guess where the vehicle was found? 400 feet from David's house. David made so many mistakes, but that's God's work. Because first of all, you called her to your house. You use, and Uber tracks everything. You commit the crime. You order the stuff off of Amazon that came to your location, to your house, of you trying to dismember a body. Are you trying to hide a body? You got a body bag. You got a shovel. You got all of this stuff here. Everything that pretty much matches you to this murder. Then you put her body in a bag and put it in a junkyard, like she's some dog or something. And I'm gonna tell y'all one thing that I will say this as well. I don't blame the parents, but I will say it's really kind of weird that the parents we did more work online than her parents did. It wasn't no missing persons out on this young lady or nothing. When they found the body, I feel like the world got on her side and was like, you know what? We will be her parents. We're gonna be the one that's gonna go and we're gonna force them to do something. And I think by all the videos everybody was making and all the, hey, they need to do something. And I think they had to do something. If y'all don't know that, they had to make David Burke's parent come. They had to subpoena them to come back to LA from Houston to pretty much talk to them because they would not talk to them. Now it says in all of this that the parents knew about their relationship because she was traveling with them. Or maybe the parents didn't know how old she was. but they knew who she was. And when the police come and tell y'all that she's missing, y'all pretty much blowing them off. Y'all don't want to talk to them. This is somebody that was in y'all house. This was somebody that y'all knew. And y'all just blow them off like, oh, we don't know nothing. I understand this your son, but if your son did wrong, he need to be held accountable for what he did. I think that this thing right here. Now the defense, they kept it simple. The defense did. They said he didn't do it. They believe the prosecutors think that the stretch of the narrative and that the evidence won't hold up. And right now they're waiting the court to test everything. But I'm gonna tell y'all like this. I think after looking at them on Wednesday, looking at David on Wednesday, I think that this kid is scared now. I think that he knows that it's real now. This was the first time that I've ever seen him being worried. But normally he just have that blank stare. Now that I can honestly look at him and say, you know what? This kid sees that it's real. He can possibly face the death penalty if he is convicted for this. Because this is premeditated. This right here was a premeditated murder right here. Because think about it. If you do everything that he did, this right here was pretty much planned out. He planned on her to come from her home to his Hollywood Hills home. And he planned pretty much stabbed her. He watched her there, slayed her, allegedly, and died. And then you go and you throw her things, which they found her passport and they found other things from her that was pretty much matched back to her. I think that honestly, this case right here is going to go to trial. And it won't surprise me if he's get found guilty, because I think that they have even more evidence on him. If they can show that video of him walking away from that Tesla the day that body was found, I think David is done. I think it's a wrap for him. And if it's true that he really committed this crime, this hideous crime, he should be held accountable for that. David was somebody that was big. And he started talking to a young lady that was 11 years old. And he wanted to control her. He got big and he was sleeping. He wanted to mess with other women. And he just wanted to keep Celeste on the side. But Celeste was like, no, I want to be the main one. And if you don't make me the main one, or if you're going to do this right here to me, I'm going to make sure that I ruin you. And I think David was like, no. I can't let you mess up my money. So the motive was basically fame, because he had an album dropping. And basically, you're not going to ruin my career. So he had financial gains from this situation. And he basically committed this crime, put her in a Tesla, in a body bag, and went on with his merry life. Went on tour, doing interviews, making songs, forgetting about her, but not really forgetting about her, because she was in every song. If you go back and look at his videos, every song, one song, he could have over 300 million views. Because a lot of people wanted to see, man, what was going on with this kid? And he did a video. He said he was homeschooled. And his parents, he said his mom didn't like that he did this type of music, that, you know, the music that he was doing. So he dropped it anyway. And everybody went crazy. But I'm going to keep y'all updated on this case, man. I'm going to keep y'all updated on it. We're going to continue to talk about it as, like I said, he won't be back in court again until the end of May. I think that this right here going to be a lot of time for him to think about it. But if he committed this crime, I can honestly see him getting the death penalty. And the only way he don't get it, I think, if they come to a plea agreement. But we're not going to jump ahead, because he got to go through the preliminary hearing first. And I think that going through the preliminary hearing, I honestly think he's going to lose that. And it's going to end up going to trial. But David, I think he was just too cocky. He felt untouchable. Nobody can touch him. I'm going to get rid of her, and ain't nobody going to miss her. And I think her parents was missing. But the internet cared more about her than her parents did. And I think the internet was the one who forced them to investigate David. And I think once they had enough evidence, that's when they came and they arrested David. They charged him. And I think it's somebody close to him that's the one that's telling everything. That's just my opinion. I think somebody close to him is the one that's giving all the information that they need on what happened that night, or what did he tell them. It's a video that's that's going around on the internet of David's producer telling him that, asking him, is he still sleeping with that minor? That was very, very, that was a weird thing to say, because I think everybody around him knew that he was talking to this minor. I think everybody around him knew. But I'm gonna tell you one thing about people that's the breadwinner in the family, that's the money. You can't really tell them nothing. If you're the millionaire in the family, what is somebody that's dependent on you gonna be able to tell you? And I think that's what it was. I think everybody held him up. I think his mom held him up. I think his dad held him up. I think his I think his grandmother. And I think that night when the police was called and they said that it was a call that came from here, that pegged from here, saying that somebody was dead, I think that was Celeste. I think it was somebody calling to tell them that Celeste had been murdered. She probably wasn't murdered there, but she was murdered by that guy, by David. And like I said, they checked everything. They got DNA from his house. They got videos. They got so much data to where they can track. They can pretty much put him to her. And I think that this thing right here is gonna get ugly. But y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Thank y'all again for listening to another great segment of the Winner Circle podcast with me, Ray Diggs. Got one more question. Yeah, I did. I saw, and that's what I was saying. All the videos that he was doing about her. And then let me just say this right here before I get off. I think that he was guilty. And I think that he made everything about her. That's why he went on there and he got a woman that pretty much looked like her. You know, he talked about her in every video. And I think that honestly, he was in love with this young lady. But he knew that he had to get rid of her, because if he didn't, she was going to ruin everything for him. And I'm not saying it's not right. It's just not. But in the end, David is going to be the one to have to be held accountable for what happened to Celeste Rivas Hernandez. And I just want to say, rest in peace to Celeste Rivas Hernandez, young lady. A lot of people, I'm glad so many people actually was your voice, because I don't think that her parents was going to come forward to pretty much push the issue when it came to David. So the internet did it. And I'm so happy that we did. I'm so happy that the internet did that. But hey, thank y'all again. And like I said, make sure y'all hit the like button, the subscribe button, and also the share button. Make sure y'all give me your feedback on what you all think about this segment. Until next time, y'all have a great, great, great night, y'all. Peace.
Mr. Diggs, we're on in 5. Vegas can't be choosers, but grandma chose trace. She raised me on scraps.